Hello guys, thank you so much for joining us today. As above, so below. This is definitely solar energy. This is ruling Leo, and this is Leo rules the heart. Also, this is where I teach universal laws on my platform. I do not teach my personal beliefs or my personal practices, but what I do is teach universal laws because they apply and are applicable to each and every one of us. Those that are being notified that I am live, my name is Chief Apostle Samuel the Jr. I am the apostle and pastor of Apostolic Faith of Jesus Christ Incorporated, and my beliefs are deeply and richly in the ATR. Those are the African sciences by which I harness, direct, and disperse energy, frequency, and vibration. To each and every one of you guys, thank you so much for joining us. This is definitely Sunday. A lot of us got to go to work tomorrow, and I've been going. I had church service this morning and through the day, and then I had to go to the cemetery and venerate Minister Mario, son of Ochosi, and now I'm back here. I talked with Mother Susan a little bit, and so I wanted to come on live again. And I normally come on live on TikTok to answer questions and concerns, and then I have my YouTube channel where I actually just talk about and discuss certain subject matter. I wanted to come on here today, and first of all, I want to say salutations to my Madrina, to my Padrino, and to my Obi, and to all of my brothers and sisters in Ifa, Voodoo, Santeria, Lukumi, Congo, Palo, Mystic, and Ajay. Now, why my lives are so important, let me explain to you all. I am not somebody, I'm not an amateur. I am recently crowned a little over a year, almost a year. August 5th will be a year of me being crowned my Fede Fume Oya. What's up, my Chris from Philadelphia, Sagittarius in the house. Mother Susan said, beautiful service today, Chief Apostle. Thank you, baby. I actually ain't got I left my glasses in the car. Now, to those that do not know, I practice black arts. I practice them openly. When I say black arts, I'm talking about African sciences, where we, as I said earlier, that how we harness, direct, and disperse energy. Now, what I am coming on here today on this particular live is because I want to encourage you, especially if you grew up in the church, and whether you do hoodoo, root work, whether you do conjure, whether you do mysticism, shamanism, if you're an Iyami. Thank you for the roses. Thank you so much, Mom. All right, Mama Susan with the rose. I'm a Sagittarius. My moon is in Aries and my rising sign is Pisces. And those that have ever got a consultation with me understand how I utilize that to do spiritual work and how I use it to protect my energy and also to assist my clients in their everyday life. Now, also, there are a lot of times, and I'm just going to say it like this. Sometimes you just have to be honest, you don't want much out of life. It doesn't matter if you're doing Ifa, Voodoo, Santeria. I am not, when life happens to me and things happen in my life, I always try to take a proactive approach and a strategy to for my protection, as well as for anything that goes on in me, whether it's mundane or whether it is spiritual. I realize that a lot of people do not take out the time to actually learn themselves, learn their energy, learn up under somebody, because it's so many people want to freestyle when it comes down to the ATRs. It's ridiculous. And there's a extremely strong disadvantage when you have not been trained by a professional or somebody that actually practices the ATRs. It is in your best interest, certain man, that you find somebody, go to your eguns, go to your ancestors, find somebody that you can learn. Y'all don't have to see eye to eye 100%. You just need to trust them enough to do their job, okay? Do right by you when it comes down to the religion, the tradition. Because at the end of the day, it is your personal journey. But you cannot learn certain things on your own. It just, there. Even if you had the book with information in there, you're not going to recognize it because you were not taught to pay attention to that. Energy, where you put your focus at, that's where your energy flows. Right? So therefore, how can you be aware of something that you don't know that you need? That's why you can walk by certain things, like many of you guys, because you don't have a personal relationship with your eguns and spirit. This is why what I say seems that it's irrelevant to you, because you don't practice hoodoo, you don't do voodoo, you don't do Santeria. As long as you got energy, you're a spirit, everything that I talk about universally applies to you, certain man. It don't matter if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. It applies to you. And people that are out here looking for things to come to pass, keep forgetting that any entity, any spirit, in order to manifest on this earth plane, has to come through one or all 5 elements. They either got to manifest through the air element, water element, fire element, or earth element, or metal and wood. Power. So 6. So every spirit, whether we working with Palo, whether we working with sticks, whether we working with trees, whether we working with druids, every entity has egun, Angel, they got to come through the atmosphere. They have to, because those are the rules and regulations to ascension and descension. Okay, that's how it is. I don't care how long you've been practicing. Everybody got to go through them same channels. Okay, that is a universal law. That's something universally agreed upon. Okay, so when I come on these platforms, I am here to educate you from somebody. I have been doing magic and serving since I was a child. Courtroom cases, federal and state. Just like I was going to elementary school, and when I got home, there was conjure to do. I was going to the cell. I'm talking about elementary. I was working on judges. I was working on lawyers. This is not something new to me. I'm 51 years old. So I'm not guessing. I also saw other professional people that taught me what they did and how they handle situations. So the fact that I got a job is a job, okay? And I have a decent job. I'm a six-figure man. I don't have no reason to get on this platform because I'm not hungry, I'm not begging, I'm not borrowing. So I don't have a reason to get on this platform and regurgitate lies or mistruth or half-truth. My job that I feel is as to melanated people that you get the most. Why not just talk? Okay, somebody put on there, why not talk to God? Okay, let me explain it to you like this. God is a title. I want you to know when you come to my platform, I'm quite educated, degreed. I've been at this a long time. So first of all, let's explain why when you say why not talk to God. Now, when you're talking, the average person, you're not talking to God. And let me explain why you're not talking to God. You may call him or her God, but at the end of the day, it's a title. And you don't know who's listening to you. And the first energy that listens to you is your ancestors. So 9 times out of 10, whether you practice any of these ATRs, if something is moving in your life, it is your ancestors. There's chain of command when it comes down to any form of spirituality. So just like you're not going to walk in, just because you're a citizen of the United States, you're not going to walk into the Oval Office and have a conversation with the president even though you voted for them. The same way you're not going to walk into the land of the Orishas, the Loas, the Impungos, or the Nkisi. So first of all, you lack knowledge. And people like you like to do a whole lot of talking and giving advice when you yourself are not trained to even be talking on a platform, talking to multiple people, because you yourself don't have a personal relationship with the divine. Okay? And if you had a personal relationship, you would have never said God, you would have said Goddess. Because she is the creator of heaven and earth. God, the feminine energy, created all this. Melanated. Okay, so let's start there. So, when it comes down to spirituality, let me tell y'all something. In the United States, no, you're not sorry. What you did was you came onto another person's platform that already has a following, and the people that come on my platform resonate with what I'm talking about, and you just interjected. And it's called not having mannerism. And we call it, when we came up, we call it spiritual etiquette. It's no different than you would barge into a conversation if somebody was having a conversation that wasn't talking to you. Or you would sit back and see what the flavor of the Kool-Aid was before you interjected. So you would have a better, rounded understanding about what was discussed and talked about. So like I was saying, sir and ma'am, as we grow, as we develop, a lot of the hurt, a lot of the misinformation has come through the church, especially to melanated people. Especially to melanated people. I tell you, do your history, study a lot of information. So when I say information, that has to do with why things are the way that they are. In order to solve problems of today, you have to find out how it got created yesterday. Yesterday, the reason why we read past, present, and future is because we need to find the genesis of a thing. Why something is going on positive or negative in your life. And let me clarify that. All energy, when something is harmful in your life is one thing. You have to have a positive and negative charge to have a charge particular. Okay? So scientifically, you have to have an electron, a neutron, and a proton. That's 666, okay? That's where our charge come from, okay? Melanated people have the 666, which that's the electrical charge that we carry in our bioenergy. Now, the reason why people feel like this stuff that I talk about is not important because you don't do real magic. You don't do real spirituality. But I came on here to discuss something that I feel that is significant. Now, I am rocking my Fedifun Eligwa. Now, it can be Eshu, it could be Hathor, even when we in Catholicism, we would, to do crossword work, we would work with St. Peter. St. Peter is, Catholicism is a lighter version of voodoo, okay? And so, the fact that we know that St. Peter is representation of the crossroad, and so therefore, he also has the keys to the kingdom, which is similar, has a lot of similarities to Papa Legba and Metcalfu, Paulo, Lucero Mundo, and any of these other pantheons. Every pantheon has some spirit that represents that energy, that frequency and vibration. So it doesn't matter what, just like your auntie, every auntie you got don't have the same name, every uncle you got ain't got the same name, and so I want us to think about this in a grounded way, even though we're talking about something supernatural. Now, my message tonight on this Sunday, solar energy, is this: what is truly elevating? In the church world, people say I'm elevated, or I got caught up to the third part of heaven, or these are the type of phrases that you will hear in the church, whether it's, and it doesn't matter what type of church, if the spirit, if they feel that spirit is moving, they talk about I got elevated, or I got caught up in the spirit, and so let's talk about that. First of all, we have to understand there's different levels of high elevation. So to understand that from a scientific, you got to understand frequency and vibration, right? So this is what happens when people, when they have spirits come in. They do not assess what level of hierarchy that spirit came in. Every spirit, especially divine spirits, carry higher frequency. And when a spirit of high frequency enters into your auric field or in the vicinity of your energy, it's going to elevate your energy frequency. Now, if that spirit, how much money you make an hour? I'm a UPS driver. I make $41 an hour. I'm at top pay. If that helps you, this year will be 30 years. I can easily bring $2,000 a week home. Yeah. So let me get back to what I was talking about. So, in honor of Minister Mario, son of Machosi, so between me and Mr. Mario, we were doing $200,000 a year, and sometimes more. I made more money, but it isn't. So let me say this. So to understand science when it comes to spirituality, if a spirit, to all of you all that like to go around talking about you're elevated in the spirit dealing with you, you have to understand that depending on what level that spirit is at, what level of jurisdiction he or she has, they carry a certain frequency. Once that spirit descends into your immediate area, because that spirit carries a higher frequency, supposedly because you're calling on the higher power, right? When that spirit enters into your particular energy field, it's supposed to elevate your energy. Just like a thermometer, when it gets hot, it elevates the temperature. The same thing is because we're bioenergy, right? So because we're organisms, our electrical field, male or female, begins to rise. Now, depending on how strong that spirit is, whether it's an Egun, whether it's an angel, whether it's a daemon, or whether it is a Impungo or Nkisi, or whether it is an Orisha or a Loa, it all has to do with the elevation of that spirit that enters into, if it is entering into your plane. You having a personal elevation has nothing to do, that means that's an internal elevation that you're doing, and you're saying that another spirit or Metcalfu or Ochosi or other divine spirits, or because their energy is very different. You know what I'm saying? Your house and the White House got two different powers. Okay? It ain't the same. It's not the same. So with that being said and being in mind, this is what happens when you have people that was raised up in the church. They go and they bring that mythology, they bring that mindset into the ATRs, and they assume because they're having a spiritual experience. Assalamu alaikum, salaikum salam. Thank you for joining us. Now, Eshu, Elegba, all of these. When I say it does not matter, what I am saying, if you are truly having a spiritual encounter, elevation must take place. Now, the next thing that needs to be your concern is what type of spirit is this elevating me? Because how can I benefit from an energy, a frequency, a vibration when I don't understand who just entered into the room? This is why when you go to ceremonies in voodoo, or you go to ceremonies in Lakumi, or any type of spiritual where there's a tradition going on, they identify the type of spirit that enters in, because that determines what type of ache or energy that you're going to be. Padrino, you know the real name for Oya. Oya has many names. Sometimes I call her Oya, sometimes I call her Yansa. Oya had just as many names as the Divine Father. Okay, somebody asked the question, how do you know? Now, every different spirit, because Orishas are creatures and spirits of creation. Okay? So, this is important, certain ma'am, that when a spirit enters in, and you, because you're supposed to be having a relate, because this is what I want to say too. Just like you should know who in your house, you should also know what spirits are in your court. So based off of those spirits is what type of elevations or energy, and depending on the rank of that individual spirit, because if you are in a job and you are a lieutenant, you have one rank and therefore you can elevate. You may be a sergeant, you have one rank and you can elevate. You may be a captain, you may be a corporal. I'm just trying to show you, depending on who you are. If you're the president of the bank, you have a different, you can elevate people very differently because of your position. And that goes also for the Egun. What happens a lot of times that a lot of people don't want to admit or to acknowledge, that a lot of times you're dealing with spirits that are under those spirits. Every spirit of hierarchy has other spirits that attend to them. Just like lawyers have secretaries, spirits have agents that work in their name, in their energy, in their behalf, but is not them themselves. And that's still, but they represent that energy frequency. Some people call them legions, some people call them armies. You can use any type of terminology you want. But at the end of the day, you need to know, just like when Daniel, this concept of Daniel was praying and the angel came and said that God heard him in prayer. That was not an angel of hierarchy. That's why that angel was being detained for 21 days. Because it was an angel, but it was a messenger. I'm going to say this again. The reason why you need to identify the elevation. Okay. Now, the question that you're asking about Oya and Shango, these are stories. These are fables. The same fables, a woman about the issue of blood. Talking about Mary and Martha. What a lot of you guys are getting lost in, you're missing the message. You're concerned about things, about stories, instead of getting the message out of the stories. Every tradition has some type of stories that they tell and they leave behind to send a message. Just like when I came up, they gave us the story about the boy that cried wolf. That was not a real story. It was about the message. So a Patiki or any of these type of stories that you're hearing, don't get caught up in that. Get the message and see how it reflects on your life. When you go and get a the reading, not a Misa. Anyway, it'll come back to me. But when you go get these readings and they tell you about your life and what's going on, all of these are messages. All of these are things that you need to adhere to, but at the end of the day, you need to understand how it applies to your life, or you get no benefit. You can't adhere to something you don't understand. And so therefore, a lot of times, people may not be good at magic, and so therefore, it's like you can work in the music industry and can't sing. You can work the electrical part, or maybe you a builder. You can work in an industry and not be the actual singer. And that's the same thing that is true when it comes down to conjure, mysticism, and magic. There's a lot of people that may be knowledgeable in things, but cannot work signs, wonders, and miracles. It don't matter if they're in voodoo, Santeria, Lakumi, Congo, Palo. It don't matter. I teach a lot of this stuff on my website. I mean, on my YouTube page. And I have classes. A lot of you guys that claim to be spiritual, a lot of you, if you got into my beginner's class, and you probably out here doing work for people, there's things in my beginner class, 9 times out of 10, you wouldn't even know. No less than my intermediate or my advanced. I've been doing real magic. I do real conjure. I do real mysticism. That's right. Tell them, please get a consultation. Let me tell y'all something. Every spiritualist knows when you're serious. Just like every car dealer, salesman, or woman knows that whether you're serious, they're to buy a car, and every real estate agent knows. Spirituality is the same thing. We know them people that just being nosy, asking questions, or we know that sometimes just like spiritually and naturally, you might be already in a relationship. You already may have a padrino. You might already have a yaya. You may already have a tata. And you're just asking questions and trying to verify one information against another. Now, this is what I want you to understand. I was born with my gifts and my abilities and my powers. I did not get them because I got initiated or scratched. It was enhanced due to the initiations and the scratching, but they were that you better talk to about graveyard work. I know that's right. Over half of these people on here have never encountered real power, real authority, and that's fine. So therefore they have to ask the question based off of their experiences. So when you talk about what is truly elevation, lighting a candle and not being in connection with the divine and transferring energy from you to that candle, or if you have a ngongo, a cauldron, that energy you tie and you connect it to that candle or the incense or whatever you're doing, or that veve or pot tipimba or sigil or whatever you're doing. It is all about building or harnessing that energy. And when your elevations come, because depending on how many spirits participate in your working, like we were doing church service today. I got so elevated, I got high. I don't drink, I don't smoke unless I'm doing spiritual work. But the level, my elevation, if anybody, people on my, this can tell you, being in my prayer circles and all that, the elevation come in so strong to you. Mother Susan was in one of my prayer circles and she almost failed. Like people, they feel the shift. Just because you're speaking in tongues, just because you hucking and bucking doesn't mean you're getting an elevation. If it's not elevating the room or the atmosphere, it affects no one. A lot of your energy is not shifting the atmosphere. I'm going to say that again. When you understand the air element, you understand just like when a storm comes in, it doesn't matter how sunny it was, it doesn't matter how bright it was, it doesn't matter how you were having a great day. When a storm comes in, it changes the atmosphere. When a spirit or entity, positive or negative, enters into your energy field, it is going to change your atmosphere. Now, if it's there to do something to assist you or help you, that is a great thing. If it is there to harm you, not so good. But at the end of the day, it has to shift the atmosphere. It has to elevate the atmosphere the way where it is. Now, if it is coming to do negative work, it is going to not elevate the atmosphere. Yes, Apostle, you are so right. It has to, in order, like there's different frequencies that certain herbs bring if you're doing dark work. So let me explain it to you like this. There's Celsius and there's Fahrenheit. So when you want to bring destruction to somebody, you have to lower their vibration. And you have to lower their vibration that is in alignment with death or destruction or some negative outcome you're trying to get them to live in that reality. People say my energy changes the atmosphere. Okay, I will go along. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, depending on where you are and depending on what type of people that you're around. So, like I said, I can only speak scientifically, so it applies to each and every person. When you when you, okay, I'm gonna use what she's saying here. If your energy is shifting the atmosphere, what type of shift? What takes place in that atmosphere determines what kind of energy you're carrying. Because you can shift an atmosphere for something positive that people benefit from, or you can shift an atmosphere for something negative. Okay? It is important, and this is what people fail to also acknowledge or accountable. If your energy is the strongest energy in the room, it's just like if a woman goes, the stronger woman changes the cycle of other women, right? That means you're responsible for what takes place in that atmosphere or in that room. I'm going to say this again. Most of us, if something good happens, we take responsibility for it. If something negative happens, we say they ain't got nothing to do with it. Most of us grow up with an ego of realizing if the child is smart, it comes from our side of the family. If the child is stupid and retarded, then it comes from your side of the family. If the child got good hair, or what we call good hair, then that comes from my side of the family. The child got bad hair, it got to be your auntie, because they look like the same kind of hair that's on my child. It's always, we have a lack of immaturity when it comes down to spiritual responsibility. And so elevations are about responsibility. So when I come into a room and I am, as the pastor and apostle of my ministry, I am responsible for that atmosphere. I'm responsible for what takes place in that atmosphere, whether it is something positive or negative happening with a person, place, or thing. Because when people come into my atmosphere and they have no good intention for me or the people in my ministry, or they're coming to do other stuff, they're going to have a negative response. Doesn't mean that my spirit is negative, but they're going to have a negative response because that my spirits are also there to protect for my well-being. More so me than my congregation, but it starts with me, but it spreads to my congregation. So being an elevated ancestor, and if you have elevated ancestors on your altar, you have to address them very differently. And you're going to know if you have an elevated ancestor because the chi, the energy is, and what they are concerned about is very vastly different than low vibrational spirits. A lot of times, a lot of you feel like spells don't work. When you go to a high vibrational spiritualist, no matter if it's Ifa, root work, conjurer, mysticism, and you're trying to get them to do things that are on a lower frequency, and they don't operate in there, you're not going to get an outcome. You're not going to get the outcome that you desire, because that spirit does not do that type of work. Now that spirit may grant you a request and do it in a way where they, because let's say for instance, if you go to the grave of somebody that was married, they believe in relationships, they believe in commitment, and you go there to that person, even though they're ancestor, and try to get them to break up somebody's home, the chance of them doing that is slim to none. Even with offerings, with doing certain ebos or whatever it is that you're trying to get that spirit, people, energy, consciousness is the same way. However that person deals. So a lot of times, and I'm going to say this to my melanated people, many of you guys are very low vibrational. I don't care how you call on higher vibrations, you low vibrational. You have victimhood. It's always somebody doing something to you. Somebody always trying to take something from you. Somebody always the reason why you're making bad decisions. Somebody's always the reason why you got the friends you got. Like, accountability puts you in a position of power, and so you carry a different energy, a different. I'm working on the chi. The video was for hate speech, hateful behavior, repeated violation results in your being discontinued. Hold on, somebody just flagged my flagged my live for hate speech. I understand the decision, but the restriction is too strict. My live does not contain the content mentioned in notice. And I'm gonna say this. This is why I go to my YouTube channel. People have their own interpretation of what they're hearing. And because TikTok allows people to have the power to report your lives because they interpret this truth as something hateful. That's why I don't practice on TikTok. If you want the raw me, the full effect of what I do, you got to go to my YouTube channel. Subscribe, join. We got super chat on there. I got a plethora of videos, but I try to come on here because a lot of you guys enjoy me and coming on here. But truth is not what people are looking for when it comes down to true spirituality. And so therefore, if you want to grow and develop, you have to base your spirituality in some form of truth. And so therefore, because they give you guys so much opportunity to disagree or to reinterpret what we're saying, what we're doing, it's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? And to give somebody an opportunity to shut down my YouTube when if I wanted to say something hateful, I'm more than capable. If I wanted to do something, I'm more than capable. So this is why I, as a Sagittarius, do a lot of my stuff on my and this is the thing about it is, it's a lot of you guys are on TikTok and a lot of you guys learn a lot of things from me. But this is why people like me that don't have to tolerate this is why we don't come. You know, I do videos and stuff like that, but that's why I don't do lives on there, because of things like that. Because it's very unfair for the content creator when we're talking about spirituality. We're talking about what universal applies to each and every person. And so therefore, when people don't like to be corrected or addressed and they're not accustomed to that, they interpret that as an aggression. They interpret that as hateful. And this is why a lot of these people don't have these elevations. You know, just because you're popular on social media does not mean you're operating in the elevations of divine spirit. Because you would demean your spirituality in order to be popular on social media. I'm not going to do it. My magic is real, my spirituality is authentic, and so therefore I'm not going to debase myself to make somebody else feel comfortable. But if you really want to learn and grow, sign up for my classes, join my YouTube channel, and talk to your Egoons. You'll see how real I am. I am not trying to be popular. I am trying to resonate to the people, the places, and the things that are looking for what I offer. It's just that simple with me. Also, guys, many of you guys supported Minister Mario, son of Achosi, on his crowning. We're going to be getting his headstone, and so I told many of you guys to go that wanted to. Free speech is still real. It is real, but it's not accepted on TikTok, especially if you melanated. And it's just, those are facts. Those are not my opinions. But those that donate, that you have my Cash App. If you're gonna donate towards Minister Mario's headstone, then what you have to do, if you're gonna Cash App me, put Minister Mario or headstone on there, or something that I know, because I get different Cash Apps and Zales off all the time. So a lot of times you have to specify what it is for, so I would know how to appropriate those funds. Okay, so be fair to me and take out a little more time. And I do appreciate the offering, but take out the time and make sure I know for sure that it's going towards Minister Mario, son of Achosi's. And those that have been following me, y'all know I always let y'all participate and see when I get things done. So this ain't about, you know, I take care of me. Being DC oh, I'm not a nobody. Not a nobody. But thank you. I'm definitely in Santana. Where are you located? I'm in Florida, but I do consultations all around the world. It don't matter what your tradition is, I read. Oh, you're in New York City. Minister Mario wanted me to go to New York. I'm trying to make sure I get anybody's questions. I've been down to Clearwater. Oh, you'll be down in Clearwater, Florida? I have to Google that. I know I need to know where how far it is from where. In 2 weeks. All right, there. He's a UPSer. He know I'm not lying about my income. Because some of y'all think that every spiritualist on here is broke and thirsty. It's not the truth. I'm trying to ask the questions. I come from money. My family had money, investment property, so I didn't grow up poor. I was gonna have regardless. Yes, and I tell you that our truck. Well, I know my truck get to 140 degrees. In Florida, the heat is something serious. I had to start drinking coconut water because it's easy to dehydrate. How long would it would take to elevate and free ancestors? Now, I'm gonna say this: if you have ever gotten my guardian angel incense or my ancestor incense, all of those, because those are the things that I give my egoons. So I don't give people stuff I don't use. And what's good for my egoon, it'll help yours. Okay? And I have some very powerful egoons, and they practice all types of ATR. Elevation has to do with the purpose of spirit. Okay? What if, like in Palo, the Mfumbe that is in that prenda has a lot to do with destiny. And so therefore, when you get initiated or scratched in Palo, you have to have a spirit that is in alignment with a similar destiny. And so the same is true when you're elevating Egun. You're elevating them based off of purpose. Now, how far along did they, maybe they were doing their destiny and got caught off before time, so it might not take long for that spirit to transcend and go into the next dimension. Or if they just lived and never did it, it's going to take them longer. So how that person lived their life on this side of the plane has a lot to do with their elevation. Minister Mario, when he transcended, he elevated really fast because he was already doing work on this side. The more you're involved in your spirituality, real spirituality, I just say religion, your spirituality, your elevations come really fast, very strong, and very quickly. He was doing a lot of offerings. He was doing a lot of working with that guardian angel incense. He was doing a lot of ancestor incense, giving up. So therefore, when he ascended into the land of Ochosi, he was elevating very fast. Even my Oba, that was when we were doing my Misa, when Mario, because he had freshly passed away. What is Ebo? Those are offerings in Lukumi and Santeria. That's what they are. We call it in church sacrifice of praise. You know, giving offerings to the Lord. Burnt offerings. It could be incense, or it can be animal sacrifices of that nature. But the concept is that depending on the individual, how they live their life, Chris, it determines how much veneration is necessary for them to elevate. But some people were spiritually closed off, so it takes quite a time, because everything has to do with what you're going through. The more it's like when you're working out in the gym, the more you put effort forth, and depending on what area of your body you concentrate on is who gets the elevation. And a lot of times we don't do a full body workout when it comes to our spirituality. So thank you, but that was a very good question though. And thank you guys for hitting that like. Thank you for the tapping the screen, all that stuff that you guys do. But like I said, yeah, it is graveyard. I elevate my my eguns through the cemetery, and that's what I'm doing for people that got the graveyard work. I can elevate spirits a lot faster because I'm already ascended. I'm going to say that again. I can elevate eguns considerably a lot faster because I'm already an ascended soul. The words, the letters. What you got? I am not an Oba. There's a lot of people on TikTok that deals with that. I don't deal with that. I don't deal with it. Say, get that grave work, y'all. You know, at the end of the day, whether people are working with voodoo, Santeria, Lukumi, Islam, now you're just asking random questions, Walter. I'm trying to be nice to people. Because I don't mind people asking questions, but don't ask me ridiculous questions. If I tell you that that's not the aspect of that particular tradition that I operate in, then adhere to that. Because I'm not going to talk about stuff I don't know. I talk about what I know and what I participate in. And half of those people that be reading them letters, their life look like a, I forgot I'm on TikTok. Always consider the source of somebody that's saying they've been elevated. Who rules your head? You can't guess who rules my head just by the background. I've been crowned twice. Ogun does not rule my head. Oya rules my head. And Bablu Aye. Not that, I don't know how that helps you. Don't know, but. And just because somebody knows who their guardian spirit is doesn't mean that they're going to be successful in this thing called life. Doesn't mean that they actually can operate in that, manifest with that. A lot of times people out here rattling off, I'm a child of this and child of that. Look at their life. Know the tree by the fruit it bears. It's irrelevant of what tradition you're in if your life is not wholesome, aligning with that particular energy, frequency, or vibration. So that's how I live my life. I align myself with Oya's energy. I align myself with Bablu Aye's energy. So if you pray to the Orisha, do you listen even if they do not rule your head? Okay. Now, because they were asking about, I'm going to read the question aloud. It says, so if you pray to the Orisha, do you listen even if they do not rule your head? Now, there is a divinational system called Obi, throwing of the coconut. That is how the Orishas communicate back with you. Just like you can be in a relationship with a one-sided conversation. You're doing all the talking, but the person is there, may be there, but they're not listening to you because they're not communicating back. A lot of times, people are assuming that they are in communication with Orishas when you either have to use Obi or the shells. There's a divinational system by which the communication takes place. So it's like, did you get an email? Did you get a letter? Did you get a text? What form of communication has been set up between you and that particular Orisha? You can be crowned any Orisha and still be a part of the family, because it's a family of spirits. Just like in voodoo, there's a family of spirits. And so it's like you might have got in the family through the husband, the auntie, or the cousin. You still in the family. It doesn't matter which branch you got into the family. You in the family. So what door you entered into is irrelevant when you're a part of the family. I think that a lot of people are trying to get around the actual sciences by which was already set up for those levels of communication. There's a reason why divination is a part of spirituality. I think you're saying Yemiya and Obatala. I think it might have been a typo. My padrinos is crowned Obatala. Okay. I was born from Obatala. In Palo, I was born through Timlatir. Trying to see if there's any other questions. Okay. Well, I hope that many of you guys that follow me on TikTok, that want the more unmatched version of my teachings and my sharings on my YouTube channel. Not that I don't have a problem doing it, it's just that I don't like to be interrupted, and I don't like, because my moon is in Aries, and it feels like TikTok gives these people way too much power. Only thing that I think is good now is that they don't immediately shut your live off. And they give you a chance to give bath advice. If you want advice from me, you get a consultation. I'm an experienced spiritualist. And I'm going to explain why. Everybody's energy is different. If I don't, it's like somebody working on your car, if they never ask you for your make, your model, and your VIN number, how they going to work on your car? Why would I give a bath when I haven't done a reading on you? So if I'm going to give you good counsel, it needs to be in the confinements of a consultation. I think that, I mean, how are you going to let a dentist pull your tooth that they haven't even did an x-ray to find out if your tooth needs to be pulled? You just say you're in pain. X-rays are doing divinations. Once again, it shows that you lack a lot of understanding of real spirituality. It's not wisdom. It's no wisdom giving out those type of. How much is your consult? My consultations are only $150. It's on my website. He said, baby, book a consultation and stop trying to get clearance advice. Exactly. I mean, it's sad on their behalf because you're not being true to the spirit. And I'm not, when I say spirit, not my spirit, your own spirit. There's nothing for free. Nothing. And anybody that pretending to do free, it's just like somebody dropping the price in order to get the customer. We went through that at UPS when the Dell computers were out, and so FedEx went to the corporation and gave them a better deal, in their opinion, a better deal. No. I do readings on my YouTube page. If you want a reading, I'll do $20 on my YouTube, not on here. But long story short, y'all. So FedEx had gave them the price, so the Dell company the computer company went with them, and it was a mess because there's a reason why a certain amount of money is charged, so that not only it protects you, it protects the spiritually, and it's also able to provide for the spiritually. Because no matter whether you're a good reader or not a good reader, you have to do a cleansing, and doing cleansing costs money. And so as a good businessman or woman, you need to make sure that you have enough resources that you are charging, in my case donations, that you can cover the expenses of if something goes wrong or goes awry when you're doing that consultation. I don't let people waste their time, and I don't let them waste mine. I'm a biz woman. And I'm a melanated man. I don't know why that matters to me. If you want to make something relevant to me, hit my Cash App. Thank you. I don't take people serious until they put their money where their mouth is. I don't care who you are. You can be my mama. People don't get serious until they put their money in their mouth. Other than that, they just run in their mouth. I don't take nobody serious until they put their money where their mouth is. And I don't care if you're an EBT queen. All right. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys on my YouTube channel. Check out my videos. Actually, go and check out the message that we delivered on today earlier. I'm here to help if you want help. If I don't enforce anything on anybody. But if you're looking for somebody that does this type of work and they're in the church world, I have certain things that I apply. It is okay. Thank you so much. Someone said bye and thank you. Well, thank you so much. Love. Ma feri fun iligwa.